Hello, guys, and welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander Cocking.
He's kind of Foley.
And I got my screen-accurate prop with me today. I haven't 3D printed the right case yet, but...
Oh, was that released by one of the major companies? That's amazing, Stuart. Well done.
Yeah, I know, right?
You beat me to it.
You can turn off the scanning feature, but when it's scanning, it's amazing.
Wait, why are there three lenses when you turn the scanner off? That's not on the
like
prop.
I said, I don't have the right case yet.
Yeah.
Well,
well done. Well done, Stuart, because... I got the Picard Season 3 tricorder first. Managed to get that. And that was a phone with a case. But it looked like a tricorder. Except the actors forgot to turn on the scan button. So it's blank. Even though it could do it.
Although that at least folded like a tricorder and looked like more like,
just a big bulky one. So what we're looking at today, Stuart.
Unfortunately, the Section 31 tricorder. Surprise!
And it's funny, we've done so many positive videos today about this movie. And the one that's about tech and about new tech, which should be exciting. And tricorders, there's a really strong mold to follow. You just take this build, this design, and this build, and you make it in between. In theory, right? What did they do, Stuart, for this new Section 31 era, Lost Era tricorder? The officially first Lost Era tricorder ever shown on screen.
Like I said, man, it's just a cell phone. It's a regular cell phone of some kind, with a funky case around it. And, just develop an app. I've got some tricorder apps on my phone, actually. Just have to get this more modern, updated Section 31 one.
Now, are you saying that because or just it feels to you 100% just like a phone with a case?
It looks like a fan film where somebody just like, we'll just use our phone and, hide it so it doesn't look like a phone. That's what it feels like and looks like to me. I don't know that for a fact, but I mean, I hold a phone every day.
Yeah.
Play with the tricorder app sometimes.
Yeah. So they're definitely going down the line of the Nemesis tricorder, where they went from the iteratively famous tricorder to just as the era of the movie, smart, at least touch screens were becoming a thing. So it was not a touchscreen, but that's how we as the audience saw future tech. So they made a new version, which was a flat touch with a little flip-up emitter. I do not like that tricorder at all, personally. It feels like a huge step backwards. And I've got one because purist, as in a completionist, and it's fun to see on screen. But for me, it's a huge step back. It removes everything fun about the tricorder. It just makes it what was going to be a phone with an emitter. This, to me, yes, is interesting. Do they know that exists? Don't know. What have they done? They probably have just put a phone inside a case with apparently almost no detailing. I mean, it's kind of shockingly empty of details. Well, a tricorder is pretty famous for things on the prop. I mean, you look at the old tricorders, the 60s, 70s, 80s, they're all pretty filled with stuff, and this is devoid. It's bland.
Well, it's a special ops Section 31 tricorder, I know I'm going to hear some people saying, and it's more advanced and different, maybe using alien tech, and I'm fine with that. I really am. But it just doesn't feel that way. Make it feel that way. And it's one of those things like the military installations these days, just the military in general, has tech that's generally rolled out to the public 10 to 15, maybe 20 years after the military has been using it for a while. That's the other odd thing about this, is it makes TNG sound effects for the tricorder as well. And not altered slightly, just legit straight up TNG sound effects, which took me out of it completely.
Which makes the TNG tricorder sound effects, which is implied how it functions, 60 years old, which sort of devalues the tricorder and TNG heavily, because part of the sound effects helps you know what area you're in, and if you can put any sound to anything, it's sort of like, it's whatever. It honestly hurts that tech. If you go to the next shot, though, because this is a genuinely hard to catch prop, even though it's in so much of it, it is rarely highlighted, so I really worked to find shots and brightened, etc., to kind of give you the whole sense.
That's even worse. Oh my god.
Yeah, so there is actually some detail on the casing, as visible. But yeah, here is the full prop, every angle, every view. What do you see? What do you think?
This is what I see. I didn't notice this before, but now that I'm looking at it, that lower left picture covering your camera, which you can still see maybe a slidey thing for the camera. And look, there's a charging port right there in the case.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's remarkably bad.
Huh.
That's even worse than I thought. Like, you could print something on the if you're printing a 3D phone case, like a 3D printing a phone case to make it look like a tricorder, you could put some detail on the back
it is oddly. Well, it's not even a delta, there shouldn't be, but they're so known for that. What I found this interesting with this comparison is that what it feels like in the episode is, as you say, a phone with a light, but it's not. It's a phone with a torch that goes up.
Well, it's probably they could put a light pipe in the case, so when you turn on the flashlight, it just emits the light elsewhere.
Well, sure, but it's actually going up, so when you're holding it, it just hits the ceiling.
Well, you're supposed to be facing it forward. I don't know. It's fine.
It just feels awkward, and the hand's holding it half the time. I mean, you don't need a scanning light like that, and so part of that just feels like there's a torch stuck to it, which is badly placed. It's a very odd thing. It doesn't feel good. The top prop, I mean, there are some grills and grooves, none of them mean anything, clearly. It's just molded. I don't know if I said this in the episode, but I'm amazed that, so this is the top left view. The picture, the part of the image that shows the blood under Rachel Garrett's fingertip looks like a single brushstroke from Microsoft Paint. It looks so lo-fi previs. It looks photoshopped.
Especially when you zoom in. It just doesn't even match anything around it. It's just,
no, it doesn't.
I know it's supposed to be highlighted, but it's not how that works.
No, I mean, there's not really graphics in this movie to speak of, like in this form, as in that feel cohesive. And that is pretty embarrassing, because this is a section that you said 10 years more advanced. There should be a 3D pull-up and holographic data of genes, not literally a red Photoshop line on the footage. It is embarrassing, let's be honest. And not just that, but I mean, look at the screen. Yes, you have more physical room to display things, but none of the displays in the movie have much going on anyway. And even though, yes, the TNG tricorder, the screen is small, the layout feels logical, coherent, and whatever. This just feels like a screensaver that someone did in 10 minutes based on some buttons. I do not feel logic has been put in here in any way, and I think there was not.
Yeah, it feels like a cheap tricorder app you can download that wasn't really thought through. Obviously wasn't designed to be in the LCARS language, but supposed to look like it. It just feels like somebody that thought they were making a good LCARS design and just didn't know how it would be laid out.
So the way they play it in the movie, everyone uses it, right? Everyone uses it. So, and do they use it after the ship blows up only? As in after the ship blows up, that's when they all have the tricorders.
Yeah, I think so.
So, first of all, where do they get 6 tricorders if the ship blew up?
Small enough to have on your person somewhere.
But they wouldn't have given Giorgio a tricorder, like ahead of time. Why she wouldn't need one? I don't know if they have a lot of them. What I'm trying to say is, if they're Section 31 high-end props, then Rachel Garrett using one feels a bit smallly odd because she's a Starfleet normal officer. And I don't know, if they're meant to be that improved, then her going back to work on Starfleet and Enterprise C using tech that's inferior to this, how that feels an officer saying, well, why can't I can't use a tech that I used 20 years ago that's better than this? I felt that you shouldn't give people who aren't meant to be permanent officers the tech that's too advanced. It might be a weird thing to be pointing out, but it just feels odd to me structurally. What do you think?
The military uses advanced tech that filters down to the general public 10, 15 years later sometimes. And the people that are in the military that are just military officers get to use it. They see what it does. Eventually they know it'll be installed in their cars or whatever, right? So I have no issue with that. And you don't want a Starfleet officer that's acting as a liaison to bring any Starfleet equipment, because if you get captured or if it gets damaged or if it gets left behind, it's a link to Starfleet, and you don't want people to know that Starfleet is involved with this.
So instead we'll have a not Starfleet prop that uses Starfleet sound effects, Starfleet LCARS, and it's 20 years more advanced. That's better to have. I mean, it's a small thing, but it feels daft, because if you're going for a Section 31 tricorder, don't even have the LCARS. Make it entirely abstract, right? A stealth espionage prop. Like, don't have a Starfleet phaser, which she has in them as well in the film. Don't do that then if you're doing full espionage, right?
Yep.
And then you can say, well, it's not Starfleet tech because it does things that are a bit weird and whatever. I don't know, anyway. So next shot, though, is how it fits into the timeline, of course. Last tricorder we saw was Star Trek 6, which is very hard to see in the film, but it is there. And, of course, TNG Season 1, 2293, 2264. This is right in the middle. Now, as we just had our discussion about, it's not a Starfleet, in theory, tricorder, blah, 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 blah. But these are the two best of the era, at least Starfleet era, not Section 01, blah, 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 blah. Thoughts, how it fits in as the canon official middle evolution of the tricorder.
I still don't think it's an official Starfleet tricorder, so I don't really think this matters. But, I mean, it's black. It carries on from 2293, and somebody just turned the tricorder sideways. You know, Spock always pointed away from him. Well, somebody decided to always use it sideways, and so they're like, hey, that's a good tricorder. We'll do that. But we can also put it, you know, up vertically as well. And then somebody, years later, after that one was designed, snapped theirs in half and went, hey, this folding feature's cool. Let's see. I can see an evolution here. There's some mental gymnastics going on right there, I tell you what. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I mean, display screens on tricorders have always been absurdly small, unfortunately. This is a big progression. You got a full screen. You can reconfigure whatever you want, actually see things better. It actually makes more sense. But at the same time, it does not at all fit into the lineage of tricorders.
We say more sense, but it has none of the... If you look at the one on the right, TNG, has more accessible buttons that are easier to press than the touchscreen one.
Well, I agree.
And more scanners.
I'm just saying, if it's reconfigurable, you can make it anything you need. Whereas the TNG ones, those buttons are pretty locked in. You can probably reprogram them to do different things.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it feels
I get what you're saying, but...
It feels less functional, more... You're right, interchangeable, but less functional at a moment's notice, especially less scanners, etc. Yeah, this is one of those rare cases where the design team clearly did not spend even 1 millisecond trying to make an evolutionary logical piece. They entirely said, what would be good for the actors, something they can physically hold and use on set. Great, we'll use a smartphone, we'll use the Pixel 6s, we've got 15 in the prop department from a previous film. We'll build a 3D print case. Can you build it for Sunday? Yep. We're going to shoot on Monday. Great. And there's no effort put in. This is one of those rare cases when no effort has been put in.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to need tricorders at some point. Oh, cell phones are cool, right? You can make an app. That's kind of I think what happened.
And it's funny because there's a couple of easy wins they could have done. Paramount being, you just have, so say it is the phone, just have a light bar which goes, that's it. That's the single difference that would go from being a generic non-prop to at least a scanning tricorder element. That at least that, and that would be really easy. It's just an LED strip at the back.
And that light could in fact be a flashlight of some sort to see in the dark, but I always got the sense when it was on that it was in a scanning mode, and it was like a scanning emitter.
Oh,
so I just want to put that out there.
I agree with you. It just looks like a flashlight.
Yeah, well, it is.
It's obnoxiously big. It's white, and it doesn't do anything. And yeah, and also just feels like a step behind all the actors doing this is how they scan. Like that is way more efficient. Not this. I don't know. It just feels significantly further back, and it's never been a thing for tricorders. I don't know. They have some wins in this film. This is not one of them.
Yes, but we have covered some in other videos. So if you want to make sure you see those, by all means hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification icon to all. And comment down below. What did you think about the tricorder? Did you think it was just a smartphone too? That's the first thing I thought when I saw it. Anyway, let us know. And come and join us and have discussions with us. We appreciate you guys.
And if you enjoy this sort of content from us, pretty special and the only place to find this stuff on the internet, then support us via Patreon if you can. Every single monthly donation makes a big difference, so please do if you can. Or join the channel on YouTube, same thing, but on YouTube, with different stickers you get for the lives. Speaking of those said lives, you can super chat to have your comments, thoughts, opinions put forward, or super thanks on any video like this if you think we did an amazing job. That button makes a big difference. Or buy a shirt at the link down below, or just PayPal, trekyards@hotmail.com.
That's right. So until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.